Oh, it's just bang it. Oh my, that was insane. I was about to bike it. Oh, right here. Let's go!
Oh,
Yaya!
finally,
Yaya!
good early game.
Alright, we're good. Just giving us all the chances in the world right here.
Playing with purpose and control.
Nice.
Lombardi. Is it going to be?
Let's go. Alright, simple. Their computer's like not very good. We can just do that all
The
day.
goalkeeper.
Play it out. Like honestly, the outside mids are low-key overpowered. We play it there and then get it back into the middle. It breaks their defense.
Yeah, that was a really.
Like, don't be scared to just play it to the outside mids, and then getting the ball back in the middle.
Lombardi.
Yeah, like that. It just breaks them. You got me in the middle?
Lovely ball over the top.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What's happening, everyone? This is Lesky, and I'm back with another pro player build for FIFA 22 Pro Clubs. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this Yaya Touré center mid build. I've always been a huge fan of Yaya Touré in real life. One of my favorite players to watch, and just one of my favorite players of all time. And then when it translates to FIFA, I love using bigger players in FIFA, especially in the midfield, so you can dominate the midfield, kind of use the strength to bully people out of the way, and just control the central area of the pitch as a box-to-box midfielder, and that's what we went for with this Yaya build. Let's not waste any time, and let's take a look at the height and weight for this center mid Yaya Touré build. I went for 6'2", 198 pounds, which I think is pretty much spot on for what he was when he was playing, at least maybe towards the end of his career or at Man City. He might have been a little bit less in weight, I'm not too sure. But when I looked it up, most of the sites said 198 pounds, and he's listed as 6'2". He's always been listed as 6'2" in FIFA, so I had to go 6'2", and then 198 pounds is pretty much spot on. But honestly, you can go anywhere between 176 and 198. It's really not going to make any difference. The stats are going to be the exact same. But if you want to be pretty much completely accurate, you're going to go 198 pounds. And then right-footed, of course, he's righty. And talking about the perks now for this Yaya Touré build. For the first perk, we went for physical strength, and I feel like this is the most obvious perk choice for the first perk for a Yaya build. He's known for his extreme strength, especially in FIFA, just like looking at his stats, like at his cards from the past years, like FIFA 13, 14, 15, so on, even further back. He's always had like over 90 strength on all of his base cards, I believe, which we're not going to be able to get to on the skill tree. For some reason, they make center mids like extremely weak. I don't know why. Even you can be 6'2", 198 pounds like we have, and I think like our base strength is like in the 60s, like high 60s, maybe low 70s. It's very stupid. I'm pretty sure it's in the high 60s. Very dumb, but we have the bull archetype on the physical page to make up for that. And to make up for that even more, we had to put the physical strength perk on, which is one of my favorite perks, if not my favorite perk in the game. So I did not have a problem with it, and it just fits the Yaya Touré build perfectly. So the physical strength is just a no-brainer for this build. It gives you boosted strength, ball control, and jumping when jostling, shielding, or heading the ball. Very good perk, especially for a midfielder build. The second perk, I actually switched out and tried another one. Actually, I think I started when I first made this build. I had distant shooter on. Since Yaya Touré has made some long shots in his day, distant shooter, it could be a very good option. But since we just did not have enough skill points to actually upgrade the defense for this box-to-box mid build, I didn't even focus on it. I feel like the defense for the base center mid stats aren't too bad anyways, and especially if you put the ball winner on, it'll increase the tackling ability, like slide tackling and stand tackling. It'll make that even better. So it's pretty nice, and I wasn't taking too much distance shots as a midfielder anyways, so I decided to take that off, and I believe we already have 98 long shots on the skill tree when we get there, so it's still possible to make long shots even though you don't have the distant shooter perk on. But if y'all want, feel free to like take off the ball winner or maybe this threaded pass, or I wouldn't take off the physical strength if you want the distance shooter, but it's not necessary. So that's why I went for ball winner, because in like all of his cards in Ultimate Team over the past years, he has been very well-rounded, almost like Hullet Gang. I think maybe his defense is probably like his lowest stat, possibly, or maybe pace. I'm not too sure. But he's always been very well-rounded when it comes to all the attributes. So ball winner, I think, is pretty good to make up for not having anything on the defensive page. And then the last perk is the threaded pass perk, which is also one you could switch out. But we also had to sacrifice not really putting any upgrades on the passing page at all, I don't believe. So we decided to put threaded pass to make up for that and increase his long passing ability. He was a very good passer in real life. But when it comes to just the skill tree, getting some pace, upgrading the shooting, I really wanted to focus on the shooting for this box-to-box Yaya build. And then obviously the physical and a bit of the dribbling. So we decided to not go for too much passing. So the threaded pass kind of makes up for that. And it'll make your LBY through balls or L1 triangle through balls on PlayStation a bit better, and it'll also increase the vision, and it'll give you 5-star weak foot on those passes, so keep that in mind. That's very helpful. And those are the 3 perks that I went for with this build: physical strength, ball winner, threaded pass. Feel free, if you want to take off threaded pass, you can maybe do precision pass if you prefer that. Anything else, I don't know. You could maybe do one-time shot, but I don't know if you're going to be using that too much as a midfielder build. Even a box-to-box build, we're going to get forward and trying to score. You still might not be using as much as if you were like a striker, possibly skilled dribbler. Those would be like the only other ones I would possibly switch out. But I think these are definitely the best 3 for this Yaya build. Now let's take a look at the skill tree. We are going to be taking a look at the physical page first, like we usually do. And like I mentioned earlier, I said high 60s. It wasn't even in the high 60s. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling, like, why they made center mid so weak, especially even if you go 6'2", 198 pounds. If we go any less than that, we're going to be like almost 50 strength. I think it's absolutely absurd. So they're basically forcing us to get the bull archetype. Like, we're 198 pounds, 6'2". Like, you should at least have 70 plus strength, 75 plus to start with, but they don't give us that. So we have to go bull archetype. And all this stuff, this one is 1 skill point for +2 strength. Then we get some stamina increase. A good thing being a tall center mid, you actually have pretty good stamina to start with. So we have 82 as a base stat, which is actually pretty nice. That's perks of being a taller center mid build. And then we get this other strength for +4. And then we have to get the bull archetype to get our strength to a respectable amount, because almost on all of his cards, he had 90 plus strength. So this will give us 77 strength and 77 aggression. And then remember, we do have the physical strength perk, but this is legit the highest we can get the strength, unless we go like max weight or even taller in height, but that's just not realistic for a Yaya Touré build. So depending on like how much the physical strength actually upgrades your strength, we should have like mid 80s or high 80s strength. That's assuming if it gives us like +10 strength for the physical strength perk. We don't really know. But honestly, using the build, you can body pretty much anybody, especially all the smaller builds you're going to come up against. Even like the computer builds that are pretty big, you can body them. I didn't have any problem with that. And it's pretty nice and just pretty satisfying using a bigger build and being able to just dominate everyone in the midfield. And then on the right side of this physical page, we don't have anything. They also make center mids have pretty poor jumping to start with, which isn't too big of a problem for a Yaya Touré build. His jumping was never that good, so it's not too big of a deal. And then we weren't able to upgrade the reactions anymore. We kind of just have to settle for the 84 reactions, which isn't too bad, I guess. I think that's just a base stat. On to the defending page. But like I said, we didn't go for any defending upgrades. I guess I can give y'all some alternatives if y'all want to focus more on the defending for this build. But as a box-to-box build, we're going to be going forward a lot. I don't think it's as important, and that's why we also went for the ball winner to upgrade the stand tackling and slide tackling ability for this build. But even if we didn't have the ball winner perk, I still think the defense would be pretty decent, just because you got a big body and you can just use that strength to push people off the ball. It's very nice. So now to the dribbling page. Yaya Touré was always a pretty good dribbler in real life, even though he wasn't the most agile person, wasn't the quickest. He still had some pretty good dribbling ability. So what we decided to do with this build, usually I would just go for the Lynx archetype on almost every build, but I decided to switch it up because it also just made more sense for this Yaya build. On all of his cards on Ultimate Team, he never really had high agility or balance. He honestly never even really had as good as what we have. So this kind of fits perfectly. I decided to go for the Maestro archetype over the Lynx archetype and give us 90 ball control and 92 dribbling. Because if I take it off, we only have 85 ball control and 85 dribbling. I notice when you get taller as a center mid build, the dribbling gets a bit worse. Like if we were shorter, the dribbling would be a little bit better. Like if we were like 5'10", it would probably be like 87. ball control, 87 dribbling. I think that's kind of what it was for my KDB build. So I decided to go for the Maestro archetype and not go for the links. I didn't try the links, but if y'all want to, if y'all prefer the links over the Maestro, you could do that and just replace it. They're both 10 skill points, and you could have 87 agility, 79 balance. Again, I didn't try it out. I just think the Maestro fits the Yaya build better. Just keep in mind, though, the 85 ball control and 85 dribbling is pretty low if you're going to go for the links archetype. So that's kind of the main reason I went Maestro and didn't even really worry about the agility and balance. So what you're going to do is just get all this stuff right here on this left side, except for these bottom two corner ones. You're going to get this balance right here, the dribbling, the ball control, the other ball control, and then get the skill moves, and then the Maestro archetype. I guess you could take off one of these if you'd want. Like if you wanted to take off the dribbling and make it just 89 dribbling, you could, and then you could use these 3 skill points elsewhere. It's kind of up to you. Like you could put it on the passing page, you could put it on the balance if you'd like. But I just decided to keep it on there and go for 92 dribbling and 90 ball control, and it looks really nice like that. And then on this right side, we just went for a bit of agility upgrades and a little bit of dribbling. This one will give you +2 agility for 1 skill point. This one's +3 dribbling for 2 skill points. And then this one gets us +3 agility for 3 skill points. And that gets us to at least over 80 agility, which is pretty nice. We have 81 and then 74 balance. But like I said, his agility and balance were never very good in real life or just FIFA. Like on Ultimate Team, he never really had high agility or balance. I'm pretty sure they were like in the 60s or 70s almost every year, unless he had like a really cracked like Team of the Year or Team of the Season card. So that's it for the dribbling page. On to passing. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, we do not have much upgrades on the passing. We just kind of had 1 skill point left on this build. So we just basically had to put it on the short pass, which honestly isn't too bad, because if you look at the base attributes right now, we have 82 vision, 80 crossing, 84 long pass, 81 short pass, and 80 curve. So this one will give you +2 short pass for 1 skill point and balance out the long passing and short passing a little bit more and give us 83 short pass. And remember, we have the through ball perk on this build, so it'll make the long passing and the vision even better, and then we'll give you the 5-star weak foot on those passes, so keep that in mind. And also, if you don't want the through ball perk, you could also try the precision pass perk to increase the long pass and short passing, like with A passes or X passes on PlayStation, or X passes on Xbox, or square passes on PlayStation. It'll improve that. So you could also do that if you don't want the through ball perk. And that's it for the passing page. Passing ability is not the greatest, obviously not going to be as good as that KDB build, but since this is a very well-rounded build, good at pretty much all the categories, we kind of just had to leave off the passing a bit. So now to shooting, and unlike most of my center mid builds that I've made so far, like my box-to-box midfielder builds, this one we have the finisher archetype. The other ones I kind of would just do something like this, just have these 6 and then settle for like the 79 finishing or whatever it may be. But I did notice the taller you go as a center mid, the finishing actually gets a bit better, which is actually pretty nice. Like if this was a smaller build, it would maybe be like 77, 78 finishing. And if you go even shorter, like 5'4", it probably would be like 75. So it's another perk of being taller. The finishing gets better. So I decided to even go for the finisher archetype because Yaya Touré scored a lot of goals in his time on Ivory Coast, even on Man City especially. So I decided to put the finisher archetype. I thought that was pretty fitting. And this will give us 84 finishing, 82 shot power. I know he's always had a ton of shot power in Ultimate Team. We can't really get it to what he had unless we got like these shot power upgrades, but we don't really have the skill points for that. I guess what you could do is take off this dribbling and go for only 89 dribbling and then go for something like this to get 85 shot power. You could definitely do that. That would actually be a pretty good alternative if you don't really want this 92 dribbling. You could just settle for the 89 and then go for the extra shot power to get 85 shot power. And then it would also give you some free kick accuracy, which is pretty nice also. But yeah, this is the shooting page. Like I said, we have really good long shots, which is kind of the main reason we didn't go for the distant shooter perk. We already have 98 long shots, and I just wasn't really taking that many long shot perks, long shot attempts, I mean. And the ball winner comes in pretty handy for this Yaya Touré build. And we also have 89 volleys, which is very good too. But another thing that I find extremely strange on a center mid build, similar to when it comes to the strength, how the strength is very poor, the heading accuracy is just absolutely garbage. 55 heading accuracy. Why would any position, like even in pro clubs, like no matter what position, you shouldn't have 55 heading accuracy. Maybe as like a cam or something, but as a center mid, 55 heading, like that's absolutely horrible. I wish we could at least have like in the 70s to make it somewhat respectable. But there's really no point of even going for heading increase because it's already so bad. Like you're only going to get it to like the 60s, maybe low 70s if you try to upgrade the heading. So you might not have the best headers, even though we're kind of tall. Our jumping ability is not very good either. But if you do get your head on it, it might not be the greatest. Even if you were to put the one-time shot perk on, I really don't think it would be that helpful. Yeah, you would have the power header, but maybe your headers wouldn't be the most accurate. So this is the shooting page. The shooting ability is very good for a center mid build. The best shooting center mid build I have definitely used, and you can finish a lot of your chances with the high finishing for a center mid. Now on to pace, and we almost got the max pace upgrade. We had to leave off this sprint speed, and I guess same thing with that dribbling. If you don't want the 92 dribbling, you could just go for the +2 sprint speed for 3 skill points and have 88 sprint speed. That's also another alternative. I'm giving you guys some options. If you don't want that 92 dribbling, you could definitely do that because he's always had more sprint speed than acceleration by a decent amount. But I decided to just settle for 85, 86. I really don't like using builds that have low acceleration. It makes them feel extra clunky and slow. Acceleration is very important. So I decided to keep that a little bit balanced, but we still have like 1+ sprint speed over acceleration. And the only thing we left off is this bottom right one. We got the cheetah archetype and everything. And yeah, this isn't the paciest build, but remember you are 6'2", you have some strength. So you can't really expect to be too fast. But like I said, you can get that pace if you want to take off the dribbling. And that's going to wrap it up for this Yaya Touré center mid box-to-box builds. Definitely one of my favorite center mid builds I've used. It fits my type of play style when I want to play center mid. And we actually won the Division 1 title while I was using this build as a box-to-box center mid in a 4-3-3-4, I think. The one with the attacking mid, I was playing as the right center mid. And it worked out very well. I was annoying the other team, playing defense with the ball winner perk, and then helping out on offense, getting some assists, scoring a few goals. And I really like the build. It's one of my favorite center mid builds I have used to date. And if y'all haven't noticed, this build actually has 4 archetypes. A lot of y'all might not know that. You think you can only have 3 archetypes on a build. But this one, I've had a few so far, builds that I've made on the channel that have had at least 4. I don't think I've made any builds with 5 archetypes, but this one has 4. We have the bull, the maestro, the finisher, and the cheetah archetype, which is pretty cool. And that's going to do it for this build, guys. Please let me know in the comments if you do give this build a try. I'd love to hear that. And also, if you could hit that like button on this video to help me out, and hit that subscribe button on my channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Stay tuned for some more build videos, and y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out.